like to introduce the Burma project, which will be shown in a series of 6 episodes, starting with our journey, Nassau to Yangon and back, including 5 days in Hong Kong. This will be followed by episodes in Yangon, Inle Lake, Mandalay, Bagan, and balloons over Bagan. I hope you enjoy each one, and I will try to keep them as short as possible. Leave in 30 degrees and Air Canada is 5 hours late and arrive in Toronto at -17. Very cold. We spend the night in the Marriott Hotel, and then it's off to Hong Kong in our pod on another Air Canada, which appears to go over the top of the world. Some views of Siberia, which looks not very inviting. And then we arrive in Hong Kong and get a good night's sleep after the 15-hour flight. The following morning, and the view from our 18th floor room, and then it's off to buy some shoes to replace those damaged on the way to Hong Kong. We then visit Mandy in her apartment for tea, and then off to Wan Chai for dim sum lunch. From our menu in a Chinese restaurant is always tricky, but we had a very nice meal. And then in the evening we went to a concert given by the Hong Kong Philharmonic Orchestra. Unfortunately, I fell asleep during most of it, but what I did hear was good. Next day, trip on the Star Ferry. The fare from Hong Kong to Kowloon is still $2 Hong Kong and 25 cents in upper class and $1 below. The window says, "Do not open the window in this compartment. It's air conditioned." Well, nobody knew. In the evening, we had a lovely meal with Mandy's relatives, almost all of them. And the next day, from our hotel window, we saw this bicycle race. Fantastic. Before setting off to the airport, right below us on the street where all the Filipino maids congregate, they were having rickshaw races. And we watched them take several races. Some of them were quite good, some of them were not very organized.
好，跟住會唔會係扣分或者係點樣？我哋會有評判睇得好清楚㗎嚇。呢個時間就係一路追緊上嚟，向自己嘅時間進發。係啦
3.5 hours from Hong Kong to Kuala Lumpur, and then we were whisking the golf cart to the Sammy Hotel from the airport concourse. Unfortunately, they had checked our baggage through to Yangon, so we had not much to sleep in, but it worked out okay. The foyer of the Sammy, which is very modern, and at the airport they had Harrods. Our last leg of our journey from Kuala Lumpur to Yangon over some rather fierce-looking country, and then landing in Yangon itself. Not quite what I expected, but I'm not sure what that was. We were met at the airport by Nian, our guide for the whole tour, and then off to the Strand Hotel, driven by our driver. Strand Hotel as it used to look in the early 1900s and as it looks today. The foyer of the very comfortable hotel, and looking down from the second floor where our room was, we had a butler on the floor, and the bedroom was pretty big and very comfortable. Music played in the foyer, Burmese style, and lunch in the restaurant. Back in Yangon for the return journey, we stayed at the governor's residence for 2 nights. which is supposed to be the plushest of the hotels, and was certainly very nice. The bath was spectacular and took a little while to fill. We had dinner in the garden all by ourselves under the stars, and it was most romantic. Our waiter was excellent and spoke very good English, and we were joined by a turtle in the pond behind us. Next morning, it's breakfast on the veranda, and we did think about a dip in the very inviting pool, but it was a little chilly. They had a local harpist playing for us, and then it was back in the car and off to the airport for the return journey. Yangon International Airport, and goodbye to Yen. The return flight was the same route, except we did not stop in Kuala Lumpur. We went straight on to Hong Kong on Malaysian Airways, and it was back in the Mandarin Oriental at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were woken by the windows being cleaned. It was a bit of a surprise, and it's not often you see two Chinese kissing in public. And the atrium in the landmark building was beautifully decorated for the coming new year, the year of the horse. As it was Sunday once again, there was another competition on the street behind us. This time it was dance groups. I'll let you watch. Some of the spectators enjoying the show, and I was up on the bandstand. Back to the airport in the afternoon and on to Air Canada, which was late again, for another 15-hour flight. And again over the northernmost part of the world you could possibly go to. Actually not quite too bad this time. We didn't hit the North Pole. Toronto was again engulfed in snow, and we had to be de-iced before the plane could take off for Nassau. Our final leg, and then it's back to sunny skies and a cold swimming pool, but nice weather. And of course our friends from next door had not forgotten us while we were away.